The Compensation Fund pays out injured workers in accordance with the Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Diseases Act, or COIDA.
When you get injured on duty, we pay for your medical expenses. And after you have reached maximum medical improvement, then we'll pay what we call permanent disablement.
The compensation amount depends on the extent of the injury. Although Goodyear pays its contributions, the company didn't notify the fund about Thabo Majola's injury. Neither did the Kelly Group.
We do not have a claim for Thabo Majola. We don't have a record of such a claim at all in our systems.
In a letter to Checkpoint, Goodyear claimed that it had assisted Majola and 2 others to get compensation. When Checkpoint questioned, they sent an email stating that the matter was still pending due to Majola having taken the company to court. Goodyear refused to grant us an interview, so we approached their lawyers, who gave us a totally different story. In a letter sent to Checkpoint, Goodyear's legal representatives, Pagdens, state that Mr. Majola was not an employee of Goodyear at the time of his accident, and therefore Goodyear could not report the accident. This implied that Kelly should have taken responsibility, so we contacted the Kelly Group, who also refused to give us an on-camera interview, and in an email said, quote, "As this incident took place more than 5 years ago, we no longer have the detailed files." Goodyear's lawyers, Pagdens, also stated that they had been instructed by their client that it was not necessary to communicate with us further. There is a statute of limitations of 2 years on a claim, and although a worker can notify the fund of their injury, the onus is on the employer to file a formal report and to submit an accident claim form. We've asked Goodyear for Majola's accident claim form. They've thus far failed to produce it.
In an instance where the employer didn't report the accident to the fund but received a notification from the employee, we do not penalize an employee. As soon as we become aware of such a case, we'll register the case, pay benefits to the employee while pursuing the employer to make sure that they pay penalties and any other premium that is outstanding.
With Goodyear having implied that all Majola needed to do was submit a claim, last month we filmed him requesting an injury on duty claim form, also known as an IOD form, from Goodyear.
Tasha, remember that case, the one I was injured at work?
When you were still working with Kelly in 2007?
2008.
Oh,
2008. Yes, February the 5th.
Yes.
Now, I was told that I should come in and collect the forms for IOD. Where do I go?
All IOD forms will be at the clinic with Renee. Give me your cell phone number. I'll speak to Renee now, and then I'll ask her to give you a call to make a time or a date to make sure she's available.
That call was made on May the 24th. Thabo has still not heard back from Goodyear. Sihlangu says they have a record of a claim lodged for Amos Mabuza's first accident 22 years ago.
It seems to talk about some chemical that affected his eyes, but such a claim was registered and accepted by the fund, but no payments were made to Mr. Mabuza according to our records.
Mabuza needs to submit a final medical report for his claim to be processed. The Compensation Fund says it's received several claims from Silverton Radiators over the years, with injuries ranging from minor to serious. Mabuza says he didn't pursue his first claim because his employer told him the case had been closed. He is persisting after his second injury because Silverton Radiators are not willing to take responsibility and acknowledge the pain they've caused him. After being warned by workers that the company would most likely decline to speak to Checkpoint, we pounced on the owner, Ian Gloag. At first, he tried to plead ignorance.
Why was Mr. Mabuza fired?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Are you not Ian Gloag?
Yes, I am.
So why was Mr. Mabuza fired?
He wasn't.
What happened then?
He resigned.
He says he did not resign. He says that you chased him away like a dog after 30 years of working.
Well, I suggest you go to the CCMA and ask them what their findings were, okay? Because he resigned. I've got a letter of resignation.
Did he get injured in your company?
No,
He did not.
no.
So what happened? We've got eyewitnesses that confirm that he did get injured here.
Did he?
Yes.
Which
And why-
eyewitnesses are
and
those?
why-
While conducting the impromptu interview, we noticed that workers at the factory were not wearing protective gear.
Why aren't your workers wearing safety goggles? Do you not care about the safety of your workers? Do you not care that a man gave you 30 years of his life and he's suffering because of you? Do you not care that he now cannot see?
Go and ask for his medical report
We've seen his medical report.
from his fraudulent doctor.
Fraudulent how?
Go and see the police reports.
But I'm asking you, was he not injured here?
I'm asking you to go and see the
Was-
police reports.
Globe asked us to return on June 10th so he can show us Mabuza's resignation letter. We showed him this letter with his company letterhead dated 28 August 2017 stating that Mabuza had retired. He admitted that Mabuza had indeed retired and said he had confused the words resign and retire in our last encounter. We also showed him an email dated 7 March 2018 where he requested for Mabuza to be medically boarded 7 months after the alleged retirement. He said he was confused at the time. Gloak showed us this email he wrote to the medical council accusing Mabuza's doctor of fraud. We asked him for the police report he claimed to have. He failed to produce it. The medical council confirmed that Mabuza's doctor was registered and qualified. The doctor declined to grant Checkpoint an interview because of Silverton Radiators' attempts to discredit him and his report. Checkpoint is determined to pursue this matter until the damage done to these workers is duly compensated.